Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item is a moment of silence by our Board Vice President, Mr. Jerry Denton.
As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a 60-second moment of silence to reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in other silent activity. Thank you.
Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance, led by our Board Clerk, Ms. Brenda Roulette.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is approval of the July 15th meeting minutes. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, Ms. James.
Good evening, President Allen, Mr. Perry, and the board. I'm here this evening requesting approval for a grant that was written by one of our high school teachers, Rachel Smith. It was in the amount of $9,050. I want to recognize her because this is really above and beyond. We didn't ask them to do it. We don't hand it out. They search for ways to find more money to help find engaging ways to entertain the kids and keep them involved and active. And so I just want to be able to recognize her. She wasn't able to be here this evening, but I just wanted to brag on the work that she does.
Any questions?
Does she have any plans for the money, or do you know what?
Well, she does family and consumer, so they do a lot of sewing, they do cooking, they do all kinds of things like that. So those things are the most expensive, the consumables that we have to pay for. So a lot of that's what she's using, the ingredients, material, all the craft things that they need is what she uses for.
Nice.
I was also curious as to, is that grant money always available, and she just happened to take the time and effort to apply for it?
Yeah, it is. Oklahoma Lottery Grant, which is through our Career Perkins money, you can write a grant for anything, and it has to be specific. Are you engaging kids? Are you working on increasing their scores? Anything like that. So anybody can apply, and we had several. We wrote like 10 different grants between Ms. Sunderland and myself and all teachers. So, but luckily the one that she wrote, they were impressed with and felt like it was a need. So, but yeah, you can write them anytime, a teacher. It's available.
Do you guys know if there's like unused funds for something like that that's not being used? I mean, I kind of look at it as our education foundation where sometimes it's underutilized that, hey, these funds are there. Do you know?
Well, Ms. Sunderland, who definitely is huge in CTE, I want to give her a shout out. And we work with Carl Perkins, we work with our regional people, and they're always saying we're giving all the funds. They did say that they received an increase in the money from the state and from Carl Perkins, which is federal. And so there's an increase, but they just said, hey, we were able to give out more money to more grants as opposed to giving more money to sites. So like last year, we wrote 6 grants, we got them all. You know, so we got excited, so we wrote 10 more this year, but we only got 5. So they may have just gotten tired of seeing our names on there and just said they don't need any more funds, but yeah. So.
Awesome.
Any more discussion or questions?
No.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Ms. James?
Alrighty, the next one I want to visit with you about is another Oklahoma Lottery grant, but it was written by Christy Mowry, who is our STEM teacher at Vanguard. She's in the house with us this evening. She's also our aviation and aerospace teacher. So she has been writing numerous grants to try to help fund the things that we need, and this one was for $14,248. I'll let her elaborate in a moment when you're ready for her maybe to tell us what she's doing that money for. You'll also notice in the general consent, there's another grant that she wrote for like $7,500, and that's going for flight simulators for our aviation courses. So we're excited, but again, she goes above and beyond, and I appreciate the work that she does and the effort she puts into finding extra money for us to support the programs that we have.
Ms. James, we'd love for her to comment on
I would
anything
love
she'd
to,
like to
yes.
on this.
Whatever
You
you're
can do
comfortable
whatever
with.
you're comfortable with.
We had to go to a board meeting to get the money accepted, and I tried to say, get up there, you can talk. She wouldn't do it, so I'm glad she's coming up here tonight.
I should have, everybody was gone by the time we got up there. All right, so this $14,000 grant that I wrote, it's for a CNC router. We do have one at Vanguard, but it's not easy to use. It's kind of an older one, so I wanted to upgrade and be able to cut aluminum that we use for the robotics team. And then I'm also gonna purchase a horizontal bandsaw. We have the normal like vertical bandsaws, but the horizontal one is much easier for cutting aluminum tubing, again, for robotics. But it can also be used in other parts of the cutting tubes for aviation as well. The other things that I was gonna purchase is, it's called a Bamboo Labs 3D printer, and then filament to go with that, and then some just various other aviation type tools like oscilloscopes and that kind of thing. That was for that grant.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. I
Thank you.
love that. And I mean, especially going above and beyond and really kind of getting all those things to come together for this new program that's out there. I mean, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your
Well, thank you.
She
diligent.
does an outstanding job leading our robotics team also, and has a long list of needs for that too, that we need to one day
Yep,
fulfill.
I write
those
grants
to-
for that as well. Like
Yes.
I get grants from Boeing and Department of Defense and just lots of places around BA as well.
No one to host your robotics.
Do what?
No one to host your robotics.
Oh, yeah. So we talked, there's the director, FRC director for Oklahoma. We did speak with her about maybe hosting, because you and I had talked about holding a competition in the event center. And I was skeptical because it's a huge event. But when we went to tour it, I was like, we're good. It is huge. It is way bigger on the inside than what you see from the outside. And I was like, oh, this can hold an FRC event easy.
Oh, cool.
And one thing that we found out was, like, we pay registration dues, and they're not cheap. Like, each competition is either $6,000 or the next one is $3,000. And then she doesn't get any of that. Like, she has to raise like almost $300,000 to hold a competition, one in Tulsa and one in Oklahoma City. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, where's this money
So
going?
is she gonna pay you that money to have it here at our site? That'd be a great
Probably.
influx of cash to your program.
Right. I mean, yeah, I don't know what her expenses are, but like, I just thought it was crazy.
Tell her you'll do it for half.
We
Miss
gotta
Mount-
get her in the building first. But.
Ms. Mowry, Mr. Denton works for an aerospace company, so you may hit him up to see.
Okay, nice, for sure. We're always
Yes.
doing like field trips, and I'm always bringing people in,
All in.
speakers.
That's awesome. Any other discussion? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Remarkable
Thank you,
job.
guys.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, Mr. Leach, construction update.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, for your viewing enjoyment, I brought along a little slideshow highlighting the recently completed, current, and upcoming construction projects. Let me start off with the recently completed. I think you're a little familiar with the event center. And then the projects in progress would be the 8th grade center, and the jungle bleachers are under contract, and we're going through the shop drawings process with the vendor. I don't know where I'm supposed to point this, Janet.
It should. Is it not working? I don't know if it will work.
It worked a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Under development and currently in design is going to be the Rosewood Elementary Edition, Highland Park Edition, the Fine Arts renovation, which is where wrestling moved out of, the high school fence and the security checkpoints, and the transportation hub.
Mr. Leach, when's the transportation hub's estimated time for completion?
So we're looking at completion around fall of 2025 for completion. So just a couple of shots of the event center, the main entry. Click. Also at the main entry. Next. This is the upstairs looking over the elevator concourse, the upper level. You're familiar with the arena. Next. The cheer practice room. And all of the, let's see, laser. There we go. The laser's not lasering either. Anyway, so there's some shelves up there to put all of the cheer trophies on. One of the wrestling practice rooms. Go ahead, Janet. Moving on to the 8th grade center, which is, go ahead, next slide. So this is the rendering of the south entry at the 8th grade center. Next. And its current view, which doesn't look like much, is pretty impressive. The structural steel is all erected, and actually to date we're a little bit further along than this photo reflects. Probably just a little over half of the second floor slab has been poured on the west half, and then they're working towards pouring the east half of the second floor slab this week. Next. And then a view of the north elevation, and you can see how it ties into the existing part of Sequoia Middle School. Next. We have Rosewood Elementary that is currently in design. That project is adding what were bid alternates from the original plans. So we're adding all of those sections back. The pod will add 5 classrooms, and then there's the 3 individual classrooms, which will enable us to add about 200 students to Rosewood. Next. Go up one.
Mr. Leach, what's the total capacity there with those 200 students?
That will increase the total capacity to around 900, I believe, at Rosewood.
Thank you.
And then Highland Park, we're adding a 6 classroom pod on the north side of that building. That's the one that's darker colored than the rest. Next. The Fine Arts renovation. So this is over at the west portion of the field house. It's where there's a lot of wrestling rooms over there right now and locker rooms. Next slide. And that is the current floor plan. We're adding space for orchestra, choir, vocal music, visual arts, and speech and debate. And several individual practice rooms, some storage rooms. The mustard colored area in the upper right-hand corner will remain a weight room that is for basketball and for PE weightlifting elective. And then there's some other PE flex spaces that are staying in that area as well. Next. Just some views of some of the renovated spaces. That'd be a visual arts classroom. Next. Choir room showing the risers. Next. Orchestra room. Next. Speech and debate room. Next we have the fencing and security plan. So the areas are indicated where the fence would connect between all of the buildings at the main campus, and then there was an add alternate to complete the Ameristar fence around the other 3 sides of Memorial Stadium. We opened bids for those just recently, and the contractor has vetted those bids, and we're close to presenting a GMP to this board for a vote. Next. Security checkpoint building. This has actually changed just a little bit from this rendering. We've made this building a little bit smaller, just so we don't need near the queuing space that we once envisioned in there, so we're going to get kids through there a little bit faster. So that building will wind up being just a little bit smaller, which will enable us to enlarge the security checkpoint or the security vestibule that'll be at the east side of Building A, so we can get more kids through there a little faster. Next. Just a rendering of the fence. That's actually, that rendering is between Building A and Building C over on the east side of campus. Next. View of Memorial Stadium with completed fence on all 4 sides. Next. Another view of that from the northeast corner. Next. And then as an alternate to the rest of that project, so the fence and security checkpoints is being bid in 2 pieces. There was a fence portion, which we could get permitted through the city of Broken Arrow very quickly. The security checkpoint is going to take quite a bit more time. We wanted to go ahead and get started on that fence project. So as a part of the second part of that bid, there were some bid alternates for some beautification on the courtyard, and that's just one of the renderings that the architect prepared for us. Next. Then, of course, we have the transportation hub. The site plan has changed a little bit since this rendering was put forth, but overall, the thought process is still the same, to have parking for 30 to 35 buses on site, with a building that would house a couple of mechanics bays and a wash bay, and fuel stations, and then also an administrative building next. Another view of that. And then finally, go ahead, next slide. The jungle bleachers, that is a concept rendering of what the bleachers will look like. That'll go from sideline to sideline at the south end of Memorial Stadium next. A view of that, and then it'll have a tunnel through the middle, or an opening in the middle where the athletes, the football players, can enter the field through the center of the stands, and they would exit that field the same way. Next slide. So the upcoming projects are going to be the expanded child nutrition freezer, Creekwood Elementary Edition, Aspen Creek Edition, and the natatorium. Next. And thank you very much for your support and your attention tonight. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank- Yep.
What side of the stadium is the jungle bleachers on now?
South.
That's on the south, so they will remain on the south side?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Does it add any capacity to those bleachers by what you're doing?
It adds about 150 to the capacity. Yes, sir.
Well, I wanted to say for sure, I mean, after, I know you was getting ready to leave, but seriously, a lot of great work going on. Your team's doing remarkable. You guys, I know, are working relentlessly to get this stuff taken care of, but hats off to you for really final products, because I know there's a lot of obstacles and things that are behind the scenes that no one sees you guys overcoming, but remarkable job, especially on the event center. That was a delight. I mean, it was just unbelievable. The excitement in the arena and stuff, and just being able to see it come into a production mode was absolutely stunning.
This
So-
is, the event center, really just here at the beginning of it, is already taking on a life of its own. And I think this event center is going to be way beyond what any of us imagined it could be.
Wow, great job.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. All right. Next item, general consent items 10 through 101. Any questions or discussion?
But we skip
Oh,
comments.
comments from the public, I'm sorry. We have none. Sorry. Next item, 10 through 101. Sorry.
That's good. Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
I haven't had a vote button yet.
Yeah, mine hadn't come up either.
There it is.
Did you get it? Oh, there we go. All right.
All right. Ms. Eniff, next item, 102.
Good evening tonight. Asking the board to set the next bond sale date for September. You're probably wondering, we typically do these in the spring. We will do another one in the spring, but this is to continue funding the projects you just heard Mr. Leach present on, so we can continue the momentum of those projects, and so it's for $7.1 million from the 2023 November bond. So the potential dates for sale are September 10th, 11th, 12th, 17th, or 18th. And just as a reminder, we set this as a special board meeting to do the meeting at noon while the markets are open.
I can for sure be here on the Tuesday, 10th or 17th, if anybody else.
When is it?
It looks like the 10th or 17th on a Tuesday. I can make either one of those work.
Yeah, 10th will be fine.
So are we wanting everybody on one day, or we need several people?
No,
No, we'll
We
all
just
come
need
in
at
and vote
least
on
3.
together. Yeah.
So what day are you?
The 10th, does the 10th
of
work for you?
September, would that work?
Okay. Okay, need a motion to approve the 10th of September for the bond sale.
Make a motion, then we set September 10th as the bond sale.
I'll
Do
second.
we know what time? Is that
Yeah,
at
what-
noon?
Oh, at
At noon.
At noon. Thank you.
Okay, and we'll receive invites on that, right, Ms. Enoff? All right. Okay, I got a motion to approve the bond sale on September 10th at noon. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, new business, we have none. Next item is to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Thank you all.